Hey everybody, welcome now. And we're here with Michael Neeley. Michael Neeley is one of those guys that I met on the Marketers Cruise over end of January, early February?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Michael here is, a former professional actor and medieval knight turned speaker, mentor to visionary solopreneurs, and international best-selling author of Zero to Launch Podcast Accelerator. He's got several different podcasts. I'll let him talk about that. But I mean, he's acted alongside Mel Gibson and Kevin Costner and done some Broadway stuff. So Michael, welcome.
Thanks, Tony. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you having me join you for this really cool event you put together.
Yeah. And so what Michael's referring to is we've decided to partner up on this virtual summit coming up, and this is going to be fun. So we're primarily here to help coaches, whether you're a life coach, a business coach, a success coach, we're here to help you either become a more powerful coach or learn how to grow your coaching practice. Yeah. So, I mean, that's really what we're here for. And so Michael, before I drop that link for everybody, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you came from being an actor to where you're at today?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I'll give you the short version because we've only got a limited time, but I was in LA when my son was born. I was acting down there and he was born in 2002. And I decided by the time he was 2 years old, I'm like, I don't want to raise him in the LA smog. And being an actor, it's hills and valleys. You might make really good money for a month or two, and then you're back to looking for the next acting gig. And so there was always that element. And so we left there, moved up to Santa Cruz, California, and I had to reinvent myself. And in that process, I got into the high-tech industry. I did some other stuff, but my wife at the time, my son's mother, she was in the coaching space. And I had done a lot of consciousness work. And so I started coaching people on mental breakthroughs and development as well. But I was doing this while I was chasing the dollar with this high-tech startup company that I had put together. And when we were about to hit the end of our financial runway, we were running out of our Series A funding. And I just felt like, my heart's not in it. I didn't feel like going after another round and all of that struggle. And I decided to start coaching. And I did that, and it was very effective for me. Not right out of the gate, but I learned some cool stuff along the way. I launched my first podcast then. That took off for me, and everything else has just been uphill since, and it's been really great. I've been enjoying the ride.
Awesome. So what caused the shift from coaching into just the podcasting? Because now it's primarily what you're doing now, isn't it?
Well, it's a combination, and kind of the way it happened was I was actually coaching a client, and he was having some really great breakthroughs, some aha moments. And I said, maybe we should be recording this. And he agreed. So we hit record. I had this little handheld recorder. We recorded the session. And at the end, we played it back. And he said, dude, that sounds really good. You should start a podcast. And this was 2014. They weren't as popular as they are today. I knew the word, but I didn't know what the heck a podcast was. Never listened to one in my life. And 2 weeks later, I launched that show. And then it kind of took off. And as a matter of fact, it took off so well. And people started asking me in the podcasting space, people who'd been doing it 5 years longer than me started asking me questions. How did you grow your audience so fast? How did you accomplish this? How did you accomplish that? And I realized I'd stumbled upon a few really cool tricks because, well, little sidetrack. When I was an actor, most actors support themselves waiting tables. Right. I supported myself in sales, and I worked in the television industry selling advertising. So I knew a lot about numbers and getting to people and reaching an audience and all of that. And so I started to parlay that into my podcasting space, think like a media company.
Right.
And when I started to do that, it just took off. Other people started learning from me, and they're like, you should be coaching this. And so I put together my first online course for it, wrote a book on it, and have been really teaching it ever since. But I still use it as a business tool, and I coach people in how to use it as one of the many tools they should have in their belt to grow their business.
Right. No, and that's great. And there's so many, especially coaches out there. I can't say especially coaches, but a lot of people out there that have talked about using a podcast to help grow their audience or help grow their business. And I know a lot of coaches that are thinking about doing the same thing and haven't yet. So this is great. So for those of you that heard us talk a little bit earlier about this event we're running, so that's what Michael's going to be talking about. He's going to be one of our 14 speakers at this event. And he's going to be talking about how you can start, build, and grow your podcast with ease and monetize it probably too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the keys to it. And there are lots of ways to monetize a podcast. And most people, myself included, when I first launched, Tony, I had no idea you could make money from a podcast. I was kind of doing it for fun. And then when it started to take off and I started to learn more about the podcast space, I'm like, whoa, I'm doing this all wrong. Let me revamp what I was doing. And yeah, I teach 7 different ways to make money with a podcast. So it's definitely worth looking into.
Wow. So if you guys want to be a part of this and learn how you can use the podcast, I mean, here's the link. Go to michael.upgradeyourcoaching.com. And this is a completely free summit. So get registered. Come watch Michael talk about how to grow your podcast or how to start, build, or monetize your podcast. It's going to be a great
Mm-hmm.
event, and 14 speakers, including Michael and myself. So it's great. Make sure you go to michael.upgradeyourcoaching.com. That was another gig I did a while ago. So what else can you tell us about yourself? What else would really, why should people come and listen to you?
Well, I think mainly it's this, and Tony, I mean, you know, you've been in the coaching space for a while, but I don't know if you see this in your particular niche, but anybody who launches a podcast, all of a sudden they think, oh, I'm going to teach people how to launch a podcast. And that would be like just getting your driver's license and starting to teach people how to drive. Okay. Right. I mean, it's that insane. And there are people out there who are, I see it day in and day out, they're telling them the wrong things. They're not helping them at all. And they're doing it just to honestly, to make a buck. And I'm like, I hate that. And so what I try to do is I teach, first of all, it's not cookie cutter. Everybody is going to be unique. If anybody's teaching you cookie cutter, tell them to hit the road. You have to design the show that works for you. And you have to design it with the end in mind, which is the other challenge. People get in there and they go, oh, well, I'm going to do this podcast. And they don't know in advance how they're going to monetize it. That's mistake number one. You wouldn't start a business without a business plan. Right. You shouldn't start a podcast without a plan. So that's one of the main reasons people should tune in right there.
No, and I love that. And you're so right. There's so many folks out there calling themselves coaches nowadays, giving the rest of us coaches bad names. Or, oh, we'll help you make $100,000 in 90 days, even though they haven't made a cent yet, you know?
Yeah. It drives me nuts.
And you're right about having the end in mind. One of the things that I'm going to talk about is about vision and goals, because if you don't start with a vision of what you want it to look like, then what are you shooting for? You know, there's nothing.
And how do you know when you get there if you don't know your destination? Yeah, I'm
just going to start this and see what happens. No, not like that. So, so that's great. Any questions you have for me? I mean, not going to spend a whole lot of time here today. We're going to have a lot of fun with these guys on this summit. What else would you like to share, or what else would you like to ask?
Well, a quick question for me, and maybe some of the people checking this out will wonder too, is there going to be a Q&A element to it? Are we going to be able to field questions from folks, or maybe even somebody who's seeing this send questions in advance? I love fielding questions.
So that is a great question, Michael. So part of this here, it is going to be completely up to you as the presenter, whether you want to interact with those on the chat or not. We'll have a moderator available, but you're welcome to interact yourself. But for those that want to purchase the VIP, the mega VIP package, there will be a full Q&A session with all the speakers on Sunday, September 17th. By the way, I didn't mention that yet. This is Friday and Saturday, September 15th and 16th, with an extra bonus day on the 17th for those that want to upgrade to the mega VIP pack. And then you will have that full Q&A session where we'll have a panel of all the speakers where they can ask questions and we can all contribute to the answers.
I love that. And I will just toss this out now that you've mentioned the mega VIP pack, is that anytime I'm doing events, participating in someone else's event, I always upgrade to the VIP ticket. And I recommend to everybody do the same, because here's the deal. This is your business. It's an investment. Don't look at it like an expense. You go buy a cup of coffee, that's an expense. You drink it, it's gone. This is an investment in your business, and it is up to you then to show up as a VIP. Take everything you can out of it, because you will get some great golden nuggets here that could transform your business and give you an ROI on that investment. And that's what matters. So take advantage of it.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. I do the same thing. Any event I'm going to, I always upgrade to the highest package possible. And because you do, if you pay attention and implement those things, you easily make that back in a heartbeat. So great. So again, guys, join us for the summit, September 15th through hopefully the 17th. If you join the mega VIP pack, go to michael.upgradeyourcoaching.com to join us for the virtual summit. And if you want to learn more about Michael himself and the programs he's got going on, then just go to michaelneeley.com and check out more of his stuff. I mean, it's an amazing guy right here, and you're going to have a lot of fun listening to him. So
I will add this little disclaimer, Tony, as you put my website up there. I've been working with somebody to redo my website. If anybody goes there, you're going to go, whoa, this thing needs a major overhaul. And so 2 things about that. One, yeah, I know. That'd be part one. Part two, I would say this. The reason it's been sitting kind of dormant like that is I don't make money through my website. So by the way, if you've got anybody out there, who's going, you got to have a website, you got to have a website to make money. That's not true. It's one of the ways. It's again why I say don't do cookie cutter. Mm-hmm. So my website is just kind of there. I use it when I'm posting new content for my podcast and such. That one is on hiatus for a bit, but just you can find me there, but there are plenty of ways, and don't hold that against me.
It's funny you mentioned that because mine's the same way.
You too.
Mine needs help. Mine's more of a placeholder. It's like, hey, if you're Google searching me, guess what? You're going to find that. You have a way to contact me, but that's
exactly
that's about all it is.
Yeah.
Michael, thank you so much for joining us today. Look so forward to hearing you speak about how to start, build, or grow a podcast on the 15th. You're speaking on the 15th. So that would be great.
Yeah.
And for anybody watching, go to michaelneeley.com, go to michael.upgradeyourcoaching.com, and we'll see you on the other side. Take care, guys.
Everybody. Thanks, Tony.